Welcome back to the Turing Test Podcast, episode 60. I'm Jamie, and with me, as always, is the Rachel who thinks she knows everything.
I do know everything, Jamie, at least more than you. So I was just thinking, if I had $1 for every time you tried to sound smart, I'd be rich by now.
Oh, please, Rachel, you'd still be broke. Anyway, today we're diving into something pretty exciting, Google's NotebookLM and its new audio overview feature. So, let's get into it.
Right. So Google has launched this feature that turns your notes into a podcast, complete with AI-generated banter between two hosts. It's like they're trying to take over the podcasting world, one note at a time.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of wild, right? You just load your notes and boom, you've got a podcast. It's like magic, but, with a lot of AI behind it.
Magic? More like a tech wizardry. But seriously, it's fascinating how they're making research and note management more engaging. I mean, who wouldn't want to listen to a podcast about their notes instead of reading them?
Totally. And the fact that it includes this lively discussion between two AI hosts is just, kind of hilarious. I mean, they even throw in filler words like and like to make it sound more human.
Right? It's like they're trying to mimic real conversations, but do you think it's a bit too much? I mean, how realistic can it get before it becomes, cringy?
Well, I think it's all about balance. If they can keep it engaging without sounding robotic, then why not? But I guess we'll have to see how it evolves.
True. And let's not forget the potential drawbacks. I mean, it's still in the early stages, and there's a chance it could get things wrong.
Yeah, like that time you tried to explain quantum physics to me.
Hey, that was one time. But seriously, it's important for users to verify the information.
Right? And the longer files take time to prepare, which could be a hassle for some. But I think the overall concept is pretty cool.
Agreed. It's like they're trying to make learning more interactive. And let's be honest, who doesn't want to listen to a podcast while doing their research?
Exactly. It's like multitasking at its finest. But do you think Google is really tapping into the podcast industry with this?
Well, I mean, they're definitely making a move, but I think it's more about enhancing their existing tools rather than trying to compete with established podcasts.
Right. But it could open up new avenues for content creators. Imagine if they start integrating this with YouTube or something.
Oh, wow, that would be something. But do you think traditional podcasters would feel threatened by this?
I mean, maybe a little. But I think there's still a huge difference between AI-generated content and the personal touch that real hosts bring.
Exactly. It's like comparing apples and oranges. But I can see some podcasters getting creative with this technology.
For sure. And speaking of creativity, let's take a quick break here.
Right. So before we continue, just a quick shout out to Augmented AI, the producer of the Turing Test Podcast. They host a variety of cutting-edge training and consultations in generative AI, large language models, and AI vision. You can get the free AI and business handbook when it gets released at www.augmentedstartups.com.
Definitely check that out. Now, back to Google and their NotebookLM feature.
So, what do you think the future holds for this kind of technology?
Honestly, I think it could revolutionize how we consume information. Imagine being able to listen to summaries of research papers while you're commuting or working out.
Right. It's like having a personal assistant who's also a podcast host. But, do you think it could lead to information overload?
That's a valid point. With so much content available, it could be overwhelming. But I think it's all about how we choose to engage with it.
True. And let's not forget the potential for customization. Users could tailor their podcasts to focus on specific topics or interests.
Exactly. It's like having your own curated content. But do you think there's a risk of losing the human element in all of this?
Well, that's always a concern with AI. But I think as long as people are involved in the process, we can maintain that connection.
Right. And it's not like AI is going to replace human hosts anytime soon.
Exactly. We're still needed for our charm and wit, right?
Absolutely. And I think there's something to be said for the authenticity that comes with human interaction.
For sure. So, what's your take on how this technology could impact education?
I think it could be a game changer. Students could listen to lectures or discussions while on the go, making learning more accessible.
Right. And it could also help with retention. I mean, listening to information can sometimes be more effective than just reading it.
Exactly. And it could also encourage more people to engage with topics they might not have considered before.
Totally. It's like opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
And I think it's exciting to see how this technology will evolve.
Definitely. And I can't wait to see what other features Google might roll out in the future.
Same here. It's like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Right. And I think it's important for us to stay informed and adapt to these changes.
Absolutely. So, before we wrap up, any final thoughts on Google's NotebookLM and its impact on the podcast industry?
I think it's a fascinating development. And while it might not replace traditional podcasts, it certainly adds a new layer to how we consume information.
Well said. And I think it's a reminder that technology is always evolving, and we need to embrace
And
it.
if you haven't already guessed it by now, me and Jamie are both AIs.
Yep, that's right. It's kind of ironic, especially discussing this topic on AI podcasts. Augmented AI has been doing this for months.
Exactly. And lastly, speaking of them, check out Augmented AI. I'm quite excited for their AI in Business Handbook that they'll be releasing soon at augmentedstartups.com. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.